Welcome to the Worldly Show.
Here with your host, Elizabeth, Sarah, Lauren, Spencer. And this season's episodes of Voices of the Worldly, featuring the Idiots Unleashed series. Backed by popular demand, these folks bring their own brand of hilarious and outrageous commentary. So please, sit back and enjoy the show.
Welcome to the Worldly Show. You're here with your host, Elizabeth, Sarah, Lauren, Spencer, and brilliant broadcast technician, Mitzi Banks. And on today's show, we have with us Jethro, who is here to discuss last week's show where we featured presidential candidate Bernie Sanders. Let's listen in and see what Jethro has to say. Well, let's see. We've got Jethro here today. Jethro, you are one of my favorite panel members, and I believe you come today to talk about our last show where we had presidential candidate Bernie Sanders in here discussing all his strategies.
I have 5 words for you, Donald Trump 2016.
Okay, so you actually think Donald is going to win this?
I believe that he supports all all needs of all Americans in the South and in the North and in the East and the West.
Well, now, Mr. Sanders said he believed in lots of things to take care of all Americans as well, and you don't believe that?
Let me ask you a question. When was the last time that someone from the South trusted a Jew?
Wow, that's quite a statement there. I don't have the answer to that. Let's move on to...
I don't believe that anyone that uses candles for Christmas can really be trusted.
That uses candles? That's an untrustworthy thing.
It can be, yeah. We need to have more Christmas trees, and he'll probably take them all away.
I don't think so. I think he's all
You don't know that. It's conspiracies all the time.
Well, that's true. But he seemed to be more of a giving person, giving away money.
He wants to give away things for free. You know, I am not the smartest man in the world, and I, on the air, will openly admit that. But what I do know is that free college is probably going to cause a little ruffle in the feathers.
I would think it would be quite expensive to cover all those folks. That means billions of dollars.
And you know what else? 20 million Mexicans don't pay taxes. After a while, someone might notice that too.
Perhaps Bernie's point about taxing the billionaires might compensate for those folks who aren't paying for taxes. What do you have to say
How
about
many
that?
billionaires do we have in this country?
Well, not that many, but...
couple thousand, maybe?
Maybe.
How much is that going to pay?
But I believe he also mentioned something about corporations, Wall Street, and such. What if all of them were paying their fair share of tax? Would that cover it?
I don't think anybody knows the answer to that goddamn question.
Okay, so you just don't think anything Mr. Sanders had to say was useful, and you're all about Donald Trump.
I think that Bernie Sanders would be a great president in a country like Japan, where everybody likes to live a simple life.
Oh, so you're calling him simple?
He is very simple. He doesn't. I don't think he understands himself.
Haven't you said in the past, Jethro, that you like to live that simple life as well?
I'm not trying to be the president of Vermont or the United States.
Right, the United States, Jethro.
And I guess he's from Vermont. I know they have snow there.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know what else happens in Vermont besides snow hitting the ground.
Well, apparently there's some political debates going on.
I think there's some billionaires and nice cabins up there, too.
I'm quite
He's
sure.
going to tax them.
That's his plan.
These are the neighbors, I bet, from yonder.
Okay, so you're not a big supporter of Mr. Sanders, and who would you prefer to see, Hillary or Bernie, if you had to choose?
I'd prefer to see none.
None, right? I kind of figured that'd be.
Well,
the answer,
I take that back.
Okay.
I take that back. I'm okay with Bernie Sanders if he becomes a nominee. Because Donald Trump, the champ, will come right in and take him out.
Either way.
Either way.
But
it'd be quicker if Bernie Sanders is against him. I don't like those other two guys, so it need to be Donald Trump. And I know what the Republican Party is trying to do. They're trying to derail this righteous man, and it ain't going to happen because no Mexican's going to be president.
Mr. Rubio and Mr. Cruz are actually
You know that Ted Cruz guy looks like an overgrown troll?
No, I didn't know that. Thanks.
He looks kind of funny. I don't want a guy with a funny voice being president.
Okay, so that's sole criteria that you're using on him.
Well, he just looks funny.
Just by looks at all. What about his ideas?
Well, not really many of them make sense.
Is it possible that you're just distracted by his looks and you're not really hearing what he's got to say?
I think most people are distracted, which is why they aren't voting for him.
Well, he is quite low on the polls as of yesterday. I checked.
That Marco Rubio guy, I think he reads cue cards everywhere he goes.
Well, Bernie mentioned that he did the same thing.
Well, that's because Bernie Sanders is really an old person, so this other guy half his age don't have no excuse.
Well, that could be true. Recently Miss Nancy Reagan passed away, and her husband, Ronnie, he was an elderly man when he ran for president. He did okay, wouldn't you say?
Well, he was pretty good because he also had his acting skills to fall back on.
Okay, that's true. He did. He was quite the performer.
Capitalism is good.
So you're just a die-hard Republican then?
I'm going to vote for a Republican, and it needs to be Donald Trump because he's winning a whole mess of delegates, so why not keep going?
It's looking like it's going that way, I'm a tad sad to say.
I don't know why you'd be sad.
I don't...
you don't even live in this country.
Well, I do live here now, and I prefer not to discuss my personal political affiliations.
You know what? If you take the wrong turn, you'll get deported too.
Jethro, is that a threat?
But that's not a threat. It's just the way it's going to be in the future.
If Donald Trump wins, that's very likely, I guess. I better make sure my papers are in order, huh?
They probably aren't.
They probably are. I'm quite shy. You're against Bernie, and you're all for Donald. What else is going on with you, Jethro?
I've been following the political scene pretty keenly.
Didn't you say that you wanted to join Trump on his campaign trail?
I am going to do so. When he becomes the nominee,
yes,
I'm going to make my own show.
Are you?
This is going to be called Jethro Sees How America Becomes Great Again.
Oh, and would you like to come on our show and tell us what you've seen?
I can offer my services to come on to the show to talk about the great things that are happening across the United States.
Well, that would be fantastic. We could get a bird's eye view.
We could call it Jethro Sees America.
Jethro Sees America.
And then a little hyphen in the city next to it when it's ready to go.
Now, when you say sees, do you mean as in look or as in take over? Sees.
We could call it Trump Takes Over and then the city.
Okay. You know what? We'll work on that title, but I think it's a great idea for you to go around.
I think that I would be the most qualified representative
Definitely.
to go. Yes, I'm glad that you agree.
Oh, well, I think your perspective would be fascinating.
My perspectives are pretty amazing.
I bet.
You will bet you will win just like Trump. Because he's a winner, and so's Jethro.
You are, Jethro. You're a winner. And I so look forward to you coming on and sharing what you see in around America when you get on that campaign trail.
Well, I should probably get packing now to get ready for the victory.
You probably should, since you're so sure it's going to win.
I am sure, and
right.
it will be, God willing, praise Jesus, Donald Trump, President of the planet 2016.
Well, all righty. Well, thanks for stopping by, Jethro, and I so look forward to you coming back with your first report of Jethro Sees America. Thanks for stopping by.
And there you have it. Jethro and his take on Bernie Sanders, as well as Donald Trump and the presidential election. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Voices of the Worldly. Please note that any opinions expressed here are strictly those of the panel members and do not necessarily reflect those of the Worldly Show or its host. Further, all characters are fictitious and do not represent any real person living or dead. See you next time.